Hey there, Scrappy friends. It's Shelly, and I am Scrappy Longstocking. Today, I am here to share with you my Project Life album for the week of June 29th through July 5th. I do my 2-page layout from Sunday to Saturday, top to bottom, left to right, across the 2 pages. For the first week of each month, I have an insert, which is a 6x8 page that has a calendar page in it and a quote. It's from the One Little Word release for 2025, and it's just a calendar that I have on my table, and it's for decoration in my craft room, and I just decided to include it in my One Little Word album for every month of 2025. I'm right now considering making my own for 2026, and if I do, I might go ahead and share it with you all. This week, I go ahead and try and start out a little bit with my insert, and I get all of those cut out, all those photos cut out, and then set aside. And then I go ahead and start putting my photos in their spots on the pages. You can see on the right-hand side there that I have vellum cards that are numbered 1 through 5. And they're from the 2024 July Stories by the Month kit. I also have some pieces from the 2025 Stories by the Month kit that I printed out digitally. This year, for the second half of the year, beginning with July, I decided to start purchasing the digital kit because, for 2 reasons. Canva started allowing it has a feature when you have the pro version or the paid version. It has a feature where you can change the colors of the items that some of the items that you're bringing in. And so I started using that a lot on the digital items that I was purchasing. And then beginning with the July kit release in the colors kit, I believe, they were delayed in shipping. And I didn't want, initially I was just going to wait until I got the kits, and then I decided just to go ahead and buy the digital kits along with it so that I could just start whenever I was ready. Anyway, it was useful with this layout that I had that July kit because I was able to use the paint swatch cards that were in the kit to print some extra backgrounds for these vellum cards. You're not going to see me put them in the video because I didn't think of it until a few days after I put this in. Like, while I was putting the layout together, I did not like that there was so much white background to it, but I could not for the life of me think of what to use instead. While I was putting it together, I thought about, I'll just grab some patriotic paper that I have. I have some 8.5 by 11 pages that I have in a paper pad, and then some single pages that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. But I didn't want the patriotic paper behind there because I wanted the more muted colors of the spread because of that calendar insert. The color of the actual calendar page is like an orangey color. And then I have these photos from this wedding. And that made it difficult to arrange the photos and then choose the paper. Eventually, I decided to ignore this wedding and the colors in that photo because I couldn't see them as well. And so I was like, it doesn't even matter. I can do what I want. I also didn't want the pages to be like super red, white, and blue, even though they kind of turn out that way. And so that's why I discarded my ideas and I just went with white. And then after maybe a week, I realized, I can just reprint those painty cards and change the colors on them to whatever colors I want to use. Well, then while I was putting them together, I realized the colors were somehow skewed on the card, and I don't know if it was because of the original formatting of the card. So it was a little weird. And eventually I chose a light blue color, a pink. I used that green painty card there that's in my left hand. And then I also used like a navy blue card. And basically I backed all of the numbers 1 through 5 with one of those painty cards so that it gave it just a little bit of interest, and so it wasn't just so plain and blah. On the left side there, you see the card that says Easy Like Sunday Morning. And I chose that card because I, on that Sunday, decided to cancel my Netflix entirely just because I haven't watched it for months. And so it felt like a waste, and I was just keeping it because I had it for so long and there was so much that was possible to watch. And so that didn't make much sense to me. And since I had decided not to renew it again and to go ahead and cancel it, I decided to watch Gilmore Girls: A Year in the Life. And so that's why all of those Netflix posters are there on the left-hand side for my Sunday documenting. Well, when I went to go ahead and journal about Sunday, I realized nothing I was journaling about happened on a Sunday morning. And so it didn't make sense to actually have a card that said Easy Like Sunday Morning. So at some point, I'll go ahead and document a Sunday morning specifically. And you'll see me go ahead and get rid of that. What I changed it to was I used one of those painty cards from the 25 kit. And then I had already purchased a digital stamp that matches the numbers that are on those vellum cards. And so I divided the card in half, and I used a blue background, and I put it at, I used 29 and a story, and then 30 and a story, and 29 is on the top and 30 is on the bottom. And the stamp itself had the A story in it, even though the original card said the story. I didn't really think it mattered that much, so I just journaled for Sunday and Monday on the left-hand side, and then just kept chucking along. So my pictures on the top left and bottom left of the left page are for Sunday, I believe, and they end up getting moved around a little bit. And then Monday is the picture of where it looks like a man in orange on the top and then a tree on the right. That's my Monday's picture. It's a screenshot, and it says, "The day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit." So it was just a reminder to me. It was a screenshot, I think, from Instagram that was a good reminder to me to be patient. And then, as usual, there's my screenshot of my steps. I like to track them in this journal. At some point while I've been talking, I moved the number 1 over to the left because that was Tuesday was the 1st. Initially, I was trying to put all of the numbers on the right because that was what my original plan was, and then it didn't make sense. I also didn't want to cover up all of the numbers because then I would end up, or all of the pictures with the number vellum cards, because then I would end up with a bunch of filler cards, and I didn't need additional journaling because the number card, the story at the bottom, has enough room for me to put the actual story of that day, which is why I also decided to print out the 29 and 30 a story, is because I just needed a small amount of journaling for those couple of days. I also decided to use the tag where it says boom. It's kind of in the middle of the 2 pages just sitting there right now. And it goes on that blue card at the top right. And I adhere it with a star brad. And it's just a cute little embellishment since it's the 4th of July. Originally, you saw the flag vellum piece on there, the 4x6. I decided not to use that because I didn't like the way the whole page was scrunched up with all the number cards and the photos on top of each other. So I think what I'll do is I'll put that in my stash to use either for a future Memorial Day or a future Independence Day. And maybe I usually don't do anything on Independence Day because it's so hot by that time of the year here in Arkansas. And so I generally choose not to do anything there for that. And moving on, I think this is what you're seeing now is mostly the final layout that I chose for my 2 pages. The 5 is opposite of the 4, and that doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense because the numbers are out of order. I chose to do that because the photos on the right-hand side of that left page are for the 4th of July, for the Independence Day pages. And the photos that are on the insert, which will be right next to the prongs that I'm working on now, are from the 5th. So I went to that wedding on Saturday the 5th. So it made sense to do it that way so that the journaling would be next to the photo, because I suppose it's just like a little oddity that it didn't make sense to me to put the 5 on the far right and the 4 on the left next to what it wasn't for. And so there were 2 photo collages for the 4th. I had a screenshot of a flag with some lettering, which was the words were the pledge. I don't think they actually even say the pledge in school anymore, but it was a big part of childhood. And then I had went over to Hobby Lobby on Independence Day. I checked and they were open and my office was closed. So I ran to Hobby Lobby really quick and I got a new mug and I found these 2 cute little gnomes. You'll be able to see a better close-up of them. And they just have little stars and stripes and red, white, and blue motif, and they're just really cute. So I made a collage of that, and then I watch the fireworks around the world on TV, depending on what I have access to. This year, Fox had their broadcast for the fireworks around the nation in the different time zones, broadcast live on the Roku TV. So that meant that I could just watch them on TV. And in the last few years, I've watched them on PBS. And when I lived in Ohio, I used to be able to see some of the fireworks above the tree line in my neighborhood. So that's how I used to do that, is I didn't have to stay outside for hours and hours to get a good spot, and cars and people and mosquitoes and the whole thing. I could just go outside when I started hearing the noise and I could watch it for a few minutes and then go back inside. I can't do that here, so I just watch them on TV the same way I celebrate New Year's Eve. Just watching it happen around the world, or around the country here for 4th of July, but New Year's is around the world. And so I took a shot of I just took a picture of my TV screen and then zoomed it in so that you couldn't see all the other stuff. And then on the bottom half of that, I took, it was so funny when I went to Hobby Lobby. My guess is they're trying to make sure they have everything in stock, because they had the Independence Day aisle, like it was moved over to, since it was Independence Day, they had it moved over to the front the way they do in clearance, and began clearing it out. And then they also had the fall stuff out. They were in process of putting that out. And then they also had a couple of Grinch style Christmas trees out, or Whoville style Christmas trees out. And I took a picture of some of the fall decor because they had Mickey Mouse scarecrows. And first of all, they were cute. And second of all, my bestie loves Mickey Mouse. So I sent it to her so that in case she wanted to go buy a cute little Mickey Mouse, she could. And then I just thought it was funny that they have all of this stuff out for the Christmas trees, and it wasn't even fall yet. They didn't have a whole bunch of stuff out for Christmas, but they were starting to rearrange the store, and you could see where they usually every year you can see that they stack the tops of all of their aisles with Christmas ornaments and Christmas items and et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, I thought it was funny, and it's just sort of indicative of the buying culture that we have here in America. I guess it's around the world too, but there's just so much stuff, and it's always buy. And I do have a couple of fall things on my list that I want to get before it sells out, but I've got time, and if I don't buy them, it's not, or if I don't get to quote buy them, then it's not really the end of the world. So that's what that happened on the 4th of July. And so I just put that right next to the number 4. The number 5 is on the left there. And I just journaled about what I did on that Saturday, which was just a restful day with a lot of scrapbooking. And then the wedding that I went to, and that's it. It was just a few words about what I did. On the 3rd, so you can't see it now, it's underneath the calendar page with the orange there. But it was a screenshot that said, "Fight envy by believing that God is just as good to you as he is to everybody else." I needed that reminder that week. I remember doing that screenshot because I was like, hey, you know what? You're right. And then another screenshot that said, "Dear July, remind me to give myself credit for how hard I am trying." My journaling for the 3rd was, it's a second work from home day, making progress, exhausted. After work, outside to mow because it's better weather tonight. And I wanted to get it all done before I had a long weekend for the holiday. Over to the left, the bottom right of the left page is a photo of my desk calendar, and it's a daily devotional, and the verse for that day was Psalm 84:10, and so I took a picture of that, and then we got a salary change and a reorganization of the structure for the executive branch in Arkansas. And so I took a picture of my new classification and my new pay scale. And so I screenshotted that and put it on on the bottom half of that 3x4. For the journaling for Tuesday, it says, "In office," because one of my employees, first day, had a quick chat about law school and learned that not all law schools give the same types of examples. There was lots of laughs among the Arkansas lawyers, the people who went to law school in Arkansas, and me. They laughed at me, and I was not embarrassed, but I realized that all law schools are different. I didn't know that before. Let's see. What else do I want to say about this spread? Eventually, I go ahead over to my stash because I remembered that I had organized my 4x6 sticker sheets into a 4x6 mini photo album with a clear plastic cover. And I did that so that I would stop forgetting to use my holiday stickers that I pick up at Hobby Lobby. So I had 2 sets of holiday stickers. One was a bunch of different colored red and blue stars. And some were glittery, some were just plain red, plain blue. And so I wanted to make sure to use them. I also have a sticker sheet that I think has like quotes and larger stars and hearts and stripes and stuff like that. So I decided, since I wanted to bring the stars and stripes left to right across the page, because I had that boom tag on the top right, because it made sense with Independence Day, I decided to pull it across to the left-hand side. And what I decided to do was add the stickers to the vellum cards. And I thought it just made sense to do it that way. Here is, you see me working on right now, the journaling for the 29 and 30 card. The journaling for Sunday was, I went to church and came home for lunch and rest. I chose to cancel Netflix and decided to watch A Year in a Life before it was gone. I ended up watching all 4 shows. Honestly, while I'm watching that show, when it gets to the end of the 4th show, I always cry at the end. Every time I've watched it, I think I've watched it 3 times now, I have cried at the end. And, tell me in the comments below if I am the only one. If anybody else has watched that show and just cries every time. I don't know why. It just makes me sad, number 1, that it's gone. Number 2, that, Rory and Lorelai are in, like, it's a full circle moment at the end. And I had hoped the first time that I saw it that they would do another reboot of Gilmore Girls with Rory as the mom. But then I was thinking, Rory and Lorelai are just 2 different people. Like, their personalities are very different. And so I don't know as if it would be the same type of show. So I'm kind of glad they didn't reboot it with Rory as the mom, even though I think it would be very, very cool. Another thing you see here on the July card at the top of the page, eventually I swapped that out for the gold one, and I'm going to put that 4x6 in my stash so that I can use it another time. I intentionally decided not to do the stamp on that one, the date stamp, on that one, because I knew I was going to put it in my stash. I wanted all of the title pages for the first week to look the same for that, to use that title card in the 2025 year. Okay, so my Monday journaling was busy in the office, home for my standard chores, 2 times at Kroger's today. I had to get gas and veggies, grab some cookies from the bakery on impulse, and pico and guacamole. It sounds very, very random, that journaling, but it's just a quick bullet point almost of my Monday. Like, I had to go get gas in the morning, then went to work, and then stopped at Kroger on the way home because I stopped using the grocery pickup to do my vegetables because I was getting rotten vegetables and I was very frustrated with how they do it. So I have a grocery pickup order for the other items that I buy, like the household items and the pantry items, and then I purchase my fruits and vegetables when I need them. It also makes it so that they don't go rotten in my fridge, which saves me a little bit of money, but it takes more time, and I think it's basically a wash. I don't mind. I've gotten used to going 2 or 3 times a week. I have a Kroger on the way home and a Kroger like 2 blocks from my house, so less of a frustration. So I'm putting these cards back in the pockets now, and you can see the white filler cards, and it looks, I guess maybe it's fine, but it looked plain to me, which was the reason I was like, oh yeah, don't forget you have those stickers. And so I go ahead and put the stickers on. I still felt it looked like it was plain, but I didn't really at that time want to go get, see, here's my sticker sheets. Both of those are from Hobby Lobby. And you can see the one sticker sheet has a large, like the words on it are larger. I could probably put the In God We Trust one on my July sticker, or on my July vellum page, or underneath it, and it will look cute. But I definitely did not want to put anything on the July card that I printed out, because next year I may change my mind about what sort of vibe or look that I'll be going for on that page. So you can see I'm like trying to figure it out. Eventually I just settle on, I'm going to put 3 stars or 3 stickers on each vellum card. Initially I was like, well, I'll just put 1 or 2 on them and it'll look fine. But then I thought, well, let's just put the rule of 3. So let's just do 3 little items there. And then you can see on the other sticker pack that there's some little hearts on there. So to vary it up a little bit, I added some of those hearts instead of stars on a couple of them, just to make it look a little bit nicer. I'm not really sure why I thought this boom should go on that card, that 3x4 painted background card. And when I was looking at it in the album, I thought, you know what, I probably should have put a piece of vellum over it so that it would look like the other cards. But I think it's fine because the left hand 29 and 30 card don't have vellum over it, so it kind of makes sense to have it that way. Also, eventually you'll see at the end that I realized that the July card by itself, it also looks plain when I put just the vellum with the white background. And so what I did was I went back in, and you probably saw me sorting through. There's a navy blue 4x6 card that had white stars on it, and I used that as the background. I think it matches the packaging for this month, for the 2025 kit, or I'm sorry, the 2024 kit. So it matches the packaging on that one. I think that's all of the changes. Oh, and then I went ahead and put the date stamp on it. So right now, I think I'm finishing up and putting everything back into the pockets. My last thing that I do is look around at it and see if there's anything else that I want to add. There are stuff that I want to add, and I just end up deciding that there's something wrong with it, and I'm just going to let it go and think about it. So what I end up doing is I filmed the close-up for you, and then later on changed it and fixed it to what I have described to you. So you'll see it in a minute. And then refilmed the close-up for you. So all of this video is from one day, and then the final close-up is from another day. So friends, I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me, and I very much enjoyed hanging out with you. And I hope you get some good ideas from me sharing this layout with you. And if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and press the like button. If you want to see more of my videos in particular, go ahead and press the subscribe button, and the algorithm will know that you want that. And I hope to see you around the internet, friends. Bye.